Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here. Brand new episode of Whose Card Is It Anyway is posted. You can see that in the video description. Also, go to Windmill Slam's page and check out their newest episode of Win Millionaire. The intro, Dennis showed me after we recorded the podcast, the intro to the newest episode, and it is absolutely hilarious, and I think you're all going to really enjoy it. So go to the Windmill Slam YouTube page. Just type in Windmill Slam in YouTube. Check that out. All right, well, open Jace. First time I've opened Jace in this format, so that's cool. We're going to get a chance to try Mr. Jace, Unraveler of Secrets, who is not worth anything. 3 tickets. Very low amount for a card like this, but I guess it is 5 mana. Whatever, we're going to take it. It's a really strong pack. It's got a lot of good cards in it. A lot of different directions to go, but we're going to go the Jace direction. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitch. All of these links are provided in the video description. And if you could like the video too, that helps it get seen by more people. I would really appreciate it. Thank you all. This pack is terrible, however. We followed up with a really weak pack. I mean, there's a Throttle. Blue-black, not my fave. We could take the Scrutiny, or we could just take the Broken Concentration. Seems a bit early. Bit preemptive. Throttle is like whatever anyway. It's a removal spell and all, but like I said, I probably would never splash for Throttle, even though it is possible. And I'd rather play the Jace, so I'd rather take a playable blue card. Jace's Scrutiny is actually pretty playable. I could take it over the Broken Concentration. Yeah, I guess that's probably true. There are some matches where you're going to wish you had a Broken Concentration, but I think the Scrutiny's probably got more application. Ooh, Lightning Axe. All right. Am I going to be able to build the spells deck for you guys? I hope so. Lightning Axe is by far the strongest card remaining here, so all right. All this deck needs is a Rise from the Tides, and we are good. So Stitchwing Scab versus Stitched Mangler. So one evades and comes back, one taps down. Stitch Mangler better for the spells deck. Stitchwing Scab, maybe just a better card. I'm not sure. I don't know. Some people really love Stitchwing Scab. I think the card's pretty good. I don't think it's insane. I feel like I like Mangler most of the time more. And like I said, if I end up in spells, I'm definitely going to prefer the Mangler. All right, let's go Mangler. Ooh, Fevered Visions. Well, this card is actually just fine for the spells deck as well. The problem with the spells deck without the Rise from the Tides is you end up with a really weak deck otherwise. And I really don't... I mean, I'm okay with the mid-range blue-red deck, but it's just so much worse than... There was also a Gatstaff Arsonist in there, I guess. I should have mentioned. Port Town, or the thing I want to splash with the Port Town, the Angelic Purge. Otherwise, there is Incorrigible Youths, which is a thing. Much better for the Vampire deck. Is Port Town worth anything? It seems like all of these lands are not worth much of anything anymore. Did not take long. Yeah, 85 cents. Not that impressive. I guess we can take Incorrigible Youths. Okay. I mean, Spiteful Motives is fine. Starting to get led down the mid-range path that I don't like. There is a Geese's Bidding in here as well, but I also don't like blue-black. I mean, I can force myself into it. Spiteful Motives is pretty playable, so I guess I'm okay on that front. All right, we'll take a Reduced to Ashes. I guess the Murderer's Axe does work with Incorrigible Youths. Aha, pieces of the puzzle. Yeah, it's either that or broken concentration. We're going to take pieces. We're going to hope that we find a Rise from the Tides at some point during this draft. I really don't want to pull the trigger on this deck, though, until I see the Rise from the Tides. Usually when I just force this archetype, I first pick a Rise from the Tides, and then it's a really easy archetype to force because you've already got the win con. This, trying to sort of juggle this deck as we go, could be a problem. Like, we already have some pretty weak cards for that deck in Spiteful Motives and Incorrigible Use, but I guess everything else is okay. Even Jace is, well, obviously Jace is fine in any blue deck. I mean, I guess I can take Corrupted Gravestone. Otherwise, I take Woodland Stream, splash for a green card. What would possibly be a green card I'd want to splash for? I really don't feel like I'm going to need ramp, graveyard ramp. Not super likely. I guess we'll take the splash land. Uncaged Fury versus Spiteful Motives number 2. Uncaged Fury, not really a card I like all that much in the spells deck, which we are not necessarily playing yet. I feel like Spiteful Motives is likely pretty good most of the time. It's a combat trick that stays, whereas Uncaged Fury is just a one-time. Alright. Well, we are pretty low on creatures at the moment. I guess we passed a Bound by Moonsilver, so maybe someone is looking for an Open the Armory. Alright, Magmatic Chasm. Okay, well, are we building the blue-red creature deck, or are we going to get lucky and open or get past a Rise from the Tides? I'd really like to build a Rise from the Tides deck. I've done it on stream a lot, but I've yet to record a draft video for YouTube doing it, so I'm hoping I get the opportunity here. Okay, so we have Anguished Unmaking, Call the Bloodline, Daring Sleuth, we have Scrutiny, that's about it. We have Sanguinary Mage, which is good for the spells deck. Probably okay for this deck. Not the most exciting first pick. We only have 4 blue cards. We could take the Call the Bloodline. I'll take the call. It just seems so much stronger than everything else. Alright, well, seems like an easy Fiery Temper. Kessig Forge Master would be a good pickup as well. Okay, we've got Geist Blast, Mad Prophet. Basically just those two. I mean, Geist Blast is pretty good in this deck, but so is Mad Prophet in pretty much any deck. Geist Blast would let us copy, let's see, like a Fiery Temper, Reduced to Ashes, a Lightning Axe. Reduced to Ashes costing 8 mana to copy is not so easy, but remember Geist Blast burns on the front end as well. I considering I have 2 creatures and the Rise from the Tides deck just might not come together, I probably just take Mad Prophet and be okay with that. Well, we've got Kindly Stranger, Dead Weight, Just the Wind. Probably need more creatures. We have Enchantment, Instant. Do we have Sorcery? We do have Sorcery. I guess we could take Kindly Stranger. Not a lot. I mean, could take the Just the Wind. It doesn't feel much like a Delirium deck, but we need more creatures. That much is obvious to me. I guess we'll take the Just the Wind. Alright, we'll take the Sanguinary Mage. It's something this deck probably wants. Confirm Suspicions, Ulrich's Kindred. I guess we do have the Woodland Stream. And we're in need of some creatures. Feels like Rise from the Tide's not going to happen. Stormrider Spirit's good too, but let's lower the curve of the deck. It's nice to have Woodland Stream actually have some value here. Okay, Highland Lake, but I guess we could take Press for Answers as well. This deck needs way more creatures. I don't even think I'm going to play Press for Answers. Although, I guess there's other cards I could cut. Highland Lake to make the mana a little bit better. I'll take the Press, whatever. I think right now, Chasm not looking so good. Call of Bloodline probably not happening. Pieces of the Puzzle's not going to happen either. Well, I guess it could in this deck, but we're going to hunt hard for more creatures because we are very low. Well, there's a creature. All right, we'll take the Blood Mad Vampire. I like Duelist too, but we're going to take the Vampire. Okay, got the Sanguinary Mage back. We'll take that. I mean, the good news is Sanguinary Mages are good in this deck. Bad news is this deck needs... If we're not a Rise from the Tides deck, we need a lot more creatures. Which means Pieces of the Puzzle's probably not happening. We can set these on the side for now. But, yeah, I'd prefer to not play them. Everything else seems fine, I guess. Wow, we wield a Forge Master. It's like exactly what our deck wants. A cheap, good creature. So, considering this deck currently is not a Rise from the Tides deck, we're looking pretty good. Tormenting Voice, I guess you could turn on Madness with it. A little bit of card advantage, sure. If you're gonna be low on creatures, make sure that your spells at least provide some card advantage. Alright, Hulking Devils. Might have to play it in here. We're getting closer to being a Chasm deck, though, which I guess is good. I mean, we're going to need way more creatures, I guess, to actually be a Chasm deck, but that's the same reason I don't want to play Senseless Rage, and currently Spiteful Motives are not going to be good enough in this deck either, but if we end up with enough creatures, they could be. Warped Landscape, which we're likely not playing unless we splash for Call the Bloodline, which I don't think we're doing. So this deck has a good curve. We've got that going for us. I guess technically Lightning Axe is a 1-drop. Ulvenwald Hydra. Well, that is a card. Gibbering Fiend, Stensium Masquerade, Uninvited Geist, Stitched Mangler. So plenty of playables in here. Is Ulvenwald Hydra worth anything? I have to assume no. I didn't even read its ability, but I just like to check Mythics most of the time, even though Mythics, it's 80-cent Mythic, so not that much. We're going to take a creature here. Stensium Masquerade's good and all, but we just don't have enough creatures. So I could take the Gibbering Fiend, or I could take the Stitched Mangler. Stitched Mangler is a good tempo card. Gibbering Fiend's... It's a good... I mean... I'm still trying to figure out how easily this deck can get Delirium. I don't think it's super easy. We do have instants and sorceries and creatures. We have enchantments that could go to the graveyard as well. Still kind of feel like I might like Mangler more, especially with Blood Mad. I'm going to go Mangler. Hopefully I don't regret that. We'll find out. Okay, well, I like Drownyard Explorer. I guess there's Wicker Witch as well. Some good other creatures in here, but Explorer is good. So that's our 23rd card. Still not looking like a Chasm deck, I don't think. Well, past the Flameblade Angel. It's a nice pickup for us. Pretty bomby finisher. Something this deck definitely is looking for. Otherwise, Blood Mad Vampire, Killer, or Duelist would all be acceptable as well, but we'll take the Angel. Okay, second, Just the Wind. I think we're going to be able to find enough creatures. At least I'm hopeful we can. So I kind of want to just take the Just the Wind, and we'll figure out cuts in a moment. Okay, Arsonist is a nice big pickup. All right. So we're looking like a 17 land deck because we do actually have some big time finishers. It could play a second Reduce to Ashes, theoretically, or a Rush for Adrenaline, or I could just take the Wicker Witch. We have no... It's fine, it's playable. I don't want to hate pick here, I don't think. Even though I technically have a deck, I guess. I'm still creature light. The Spiteful Motives are good cards. I'm not sure if they're going to make it in this deck, though. We're not like a super removal heavy deck, are we? I kind of thought we might be, but I don't think we are. Might need the Wicker Witch. Probably not, though. I'm actually going to take the Reduce and hope that we can find a couple more creatures. If we can't, whatever. Dual Shot. Sure. Okay. Gibbering Fiend now. We'll take it over the Convicted Killer. So we can cut Dual Shot. Yeah, we got some more cuts to make too, huh? All right. Gibbering Fiend number 2, sure. So, we're running kind of a strange little deck here, aren't we? I feel like I might like the Investigate spells more than the Just the Wind. Maybe, I still think Fevered Visions might be good enough too. It's kind of tough to say. Like, we have enough creatures for Spiteful Motives to be decent as well. We don't have a ton of ways to get Madness online, but we do have the Lightning Axe, Just the Wind, and we have Tormenting Voice, Just the Wind. Alright, we'll take Wicker Witch. Now that we have double Gibbering Fiend, I think I want to make space for that. Maybe we cut the Hulking Devil for it. I think Hulking Devil's fine, but at this point I'd rather have slightly lower curve. Do have a lot of 5-drops, I guess. Alright, well, good news. We ended up with enough. We've got absolutely enough playables in here. We have to make cuts, which, like I said, is a good problem to have. I might ditch out on the Spiteful Motives, maybe. Still, I'm not sure, though. Like I said, I kind of like Press for Answers and Jace's Scrutiny slightly more than Just the Wind in this deck because of actual Investigate, but Just the Wind does synergize well with Lightning Axe and Tormenting Voice. Guess we'll take actually, yeah, we don't have a ton of ways to deal with Dire Swine. Tap it down, I guess. So we have a lot of non-creature spells, which do play well with Sanguinary Mage. Sanguinary Mage also blocks. So we can probably afford to cut one creature, and then we got to really figure out which spells we want to cut. So yeah, I'm not completely sure yet. There's some that were just our must keeps, but there's some that we could pretty easily ditch and not feel bad about. Like maybe we don't need double reduced to ashes. I kind of like reduced to ashes. I think maybe I like it more than most people, but we probably don't need to. The weakest creature in my deck might be the Convicted Killer, but it might be a Sanguinary Mage too. Like, we have a lot of spells, but we're going to be cutting some spells too. Maybe I don't need double Spiteful Motives either. That probably is excessive. So if we just put like one of these on the fence, you know, if being cut, that. Maybe one of the Sanguinary Mages. This is already 3 cuts, right? Makes our curve look better. And then we want to make 3 more cuts. I'm pretty tempted to cut the 2 Just the Winds for a Scrutiny and Press for Answers, so we still get to investigate. Just the Wind's obviously a better tempo card, but I feel like Fevered Visions is probably good enough in this deck where I still want to run it. It does give your opponent card advantage as well, but it also punishes their life total, which does pair well with this Gibbering Fiend idea, draining them through a couple different ways. So let's say we cut 2 Just the Winds. So we have our Investigate cards. Tormenting Voice plays well with the Gibbering Fiends. Maybe we do just cut Spiteful Motives. That leaves us with Lightning Axe, Tormenting Voice, or Lightning Axe, Press, Jace's Scrutiny, Fiery Temper, reduced to ashes as removal. I guess the Stitched Manglers are kind of removal too. Just the Wind you can use defensively as well, which is pretty good. Maybe I run it over the Press. If I run it over the Press, I have 1 less sorcery though, but that's probably okay. Just the Wind certainly seems like a better card than Press for Answers, but then again, like I said, the Investigate makes it difficult to evaluate. Let's just run 1. We've got a bunch of different types of spells. I do want to diversify and try and run as many as possible. Spiteful Motives, I really want to find a way to fit in here. I don't know how to do it. I could run it over a Scrutiny. It's probably strong enough. There's quite a bit of upside with Spiteful Motives. All right. Well, I said I wanted to run the Investigate cards, but we've just got these really powerhouse cards that I want to make sure that we run too. I could cut the Tormenting Voice for a Press or a Scrutiny. Our card draw is currently... I feel like Press has a little more impact than Tormenting Voice. We don't have a ton of madness. We do have Incorrigible Youths and Fiery Temper. Both work pretty well with Tormenting Voice, but Press for Answers lets us tap and maybe get in, which could be valuable. It's tough to say. This deck looks okay, though. I honestly think this deck, considering it's an archetype I'm not a big fan of, which is blue-red, not spells, I'm actually kind of on board with this deck. I think it's fine. What's our curve look like again? Kind of debating whether I want to just cut Sanguinary Mage. We have 8 non-creature spells, right? So I could like run a Hulking Devil, which isn't a great card either, but might be able to push some damage through with it. I could run, or try and run Chasm. All of our guys are non-flyers, right? Chasm does kind of help you push damage through. Like, I could run Devil and cut Sanguinary Mage and run Chasm. And then maybe cut the press now. Run Chasm instead. I might be able to get behind this. Like, we have some high power creatures, right? Blood Mad, Killer, Forge Master if they flip. Gibbering Fiend pushes some damage. I guess we do have one flyer. We have a lot of like high power ground guys though, which does make the Chasm better. I've won with on the back of Chasm a couple times. Fevered Visions. Push some damage through. Early, maybe. Set up for a Chasm. This is tough. I don't love Sanguinary Mage outside of either a Vampire deck with Styncia Masquerade or a Rise from the Tides deck. Otherwise, it's fairly underwhelming. It's a little bit of an underperformer, unless you're trying to be defensive, which I'm not entirely convinced this deck is trying to be defensive. I'm gonna play it like this. So we get to run the Woodland Stream. It's pretty much free. It is a tap land, but I guess it gives us the option of making this. We have a few things we can make indestructible with it. So that seems okay since, like I said, it's practically free. I don't think we're going to play the Warped Landscape, though. Although, I guess it does actually turn on the Gibbering Fiends, and we don't have a ton of ways to put lands in the yard. Alright, I guess we are running the Warped Landscape, so we definitely want more red than blue, but this would be 10, like 8 blue, 10 and 8. Yeah. I didn't realize how few blue cards we have in this deck, but yeah. Alright, I think this deck is fine. We've got some removal to deal with stuff. We've got some pretty decent creatures. Not a lot of evasion, but we have an okay late game plan. We have Jace, we have a Flameblade Angel, a couple bombs. It's okay. It's probably I don't know if it's even B territory. Maybe it's high C territory. High C Ecto Cooler. I think my last deck I rated at 82%, right? The black-white deck. But the curve was a lot better on that deck. This deck has more bombs. It's probably comparable. I think I might err slightly towards that deck. The previous one, just because I don't particularly like this archetype. But then again, I don't really like black-white that much either. Yeah, we'll probably give it a B, 80%, something like that. All right, well, this is the deck. Running it like this. We'll see you round one.